as I just mentioned. And what is even more important, that all these initiatives are launched with a very extensive consultative process with the market participants, market players, and the investor community in large, which is the hallmark. You know better than me, at any given point of time, I think a large number of consultation papers are already in the marketplace where the feedback is sought. I understand that the number of various groups, study groups, which are functioning at any given point of time, they run in dozens, which are, uh, indicate towards the seriousness of the purpose and a very broad consultative process. Being a ex-regulator myself, at least I can say with some authority that regulators are not in the business of popularity context. But regulator always have to navigate very skillfully between a very vocal minority of the market players and a very large silent minority of the common investors. So I must compliment chairperson to that this navigation has been so successful that waters have remained calm. You don't see any turmoil, you don't see any storm. So once again, compliment to you. Now, as the numbers of investors entering in Indian capital market is poised to reach new level, the need to have robust systems and processes protect the interest of investors in both foreseen and unforeseen situation is very critical. And IRRA, as I mentioned, Investor Risk Reduction Exchange, is an important step in that direction. I was amused to see, I don't know how many people are familiar, in the economics, finance, and decision theory, there is another acronym by the same letters, IRRA. And there, IRRA stands for Increased Relative Risk Aversion. But let me tell you what we are doing today here and what this is meant for. It is meant for risk mitigation and not risk aversion. I don't know, at some point of time we may have to maybe search for another acronym for the purpose for what we are doing. And while technology is an enabler, but there are situations that are beyond anyone's control. And I'm told that IRR is a platform that mitigates the risk of the investor when a broker system faces a major technical glitch. I must appreciate the foresight of the chairperson to take this initiative and make it a reality. I try to look around the global regulators, whether there is something similar is existing anywhere, and I can find. There are usually prescriptions from the regulators that there should be business risk management, there should be, these Chinese walls, there should be grievance redressal system, etc., etc. But nothing specific which addresses the issue in a very technology supported measure. So I must compliment for taking this initiative. What is more important that this platform has been developed with the collaborative efforts of all market infrastructure institutions, a collaboration that reflects our shared commitment to empowering the investors. These efforts also demonstrate that collaboration among the institutions can achieve wonders and set an example that in safety and protection, we all endeavor for the same end result while we continue to compete on the business front. I don't want to take much longer time on this, but again, I extend my best wishes and quite confident that this measure will go a long way. It will be another step for the empowering the common investor. Thank you once again for your presence, for your cooperation, and all the best. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, sir, for the initial remarks. I will now request Shri Sundararaman Ramamurthy, MD and CEO, BSc, to address this August gathering on this significant occasion.
Good morning, Suprabhat, Namaskar. Srimati Madhabi Puri Buch, Madam, sebi chairperson, and Mundraji, chairman of BSc, and all the distinguished heads of MIIs who have kindly honored us by being present here, to reiterate a very warm welcome to all of you. It's a matter of immense pride and pleasure for me to be standing here. First of all, as a MD of this renowned institution, which has been in existence for 150 years itself, is a matter of pride. To top it, to be hosting the inauguration of IRRA, not the risk reversion aversion model, but the investor risk reduction program platform, which is the culmination of coordinated efforts of all the MIIs with guidance from SEBI, without which this would not have been possible. Leaders are those who try to make things which have been never thought of possible. Here we have one who has been thinking far ahead of time, and no longer investor protection is an ideal to seek. It is a reality. That's what it comes out when we see the way in which, with the foresight with which these type of efforts are being made by us under the guidance, total hand-holding and helping of SEBI. There are certain systems which when we build, we aspire that it should be used to the maximum. There are certain systems which when we build, we aspire nowhere any situation should come where this should be used. This is one such system. Notwithstanding that, providing for an 8 Sigma or a 6 Sigma event in a very easy and simple way requires a lot of foresight. I thank Madam for providing that foresight, not only to SEBI but to the entire market, and the continued guidance with which we are able to progress forward. And we have path setters now for the globe, no longer looking for global benchmarks. I would like to personally and collectively thank Madam for all this guidance. And I would like to take this opportunity to assure that we as MIIs will strive hard, not only to provide a robust marketplace, but also a safe marketplace for the investors. And our hearts will be always in the area of investor protection. Thanks once again to all of you for being present here. And thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts with us. I will now request the chief guest and other dignitaries on the dais to kindly proceed for ringing of the gong that will commemorate the launching of the IRRA platform. Ladies and gentlemen, I will request all of you to cheer and join me in the 10-second countdown. We all will put our hands together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We can see the congratulatory AV playing on the screen. Moments to be treasured in the form of photographs. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now run an AV on IRRA. I will direct your attention once again to the screen, please.
The stock market is a fast-paced world of opportunities. However, technical glitches or outages at a broker's end can disrupt trading services. Here, we provide a solution for you. A solution that allows you to manage your transactions in case of trading disruptions at your broker's end. Presenting IRRA, Investor Risk Reduction Access, born from the collaboration of market infrastructure institutions under guidance of SEBI. A system that allows you to square off existing positions and cancel pending orders when your broker faces technical glitches and his systems are not accessible. How IRRA works. On facing trading disruption, the affected broker can request activation of IRRA. IRRA platform will download all trades and pending orders from all trading venues for the affected broker. IRRA would then send SMS and email to all the clients of the affected broker with the link to IRRA platform. By clicking the link, you will be able to access IRRA platform to close out your open positions and cancel your open orders. IRRA is accessible through a browser as well as a mobile-based interface. Now, mitigate your risk with IRRA.
That short film indeed encapsulated the essence of IRRA in a nutshell for all of us. And now I will request Srimati Madhabi Puri Buch, chairperson SEBI, to inaugurate the IRRA program. And I will call upon Shri Arvind Kumar Iyengar from BSc to showcase the live IRRA platform. Mr. Iyengar.
Good morning, everybody. This is the IRRA mobile browser front end. We also support the mobile front end. I now request Honorable Chairperson SEBI to kindly join me and formally inaugurate the IRRA by cancelling one order. Please.
Order position.
Order, cancel one pending.
Order. लेकिन कोई position हो तो that also I can do ना?
Yes, you can do that.
अच्छा फिर ठीक.
You just have to click on cancel.
Are you sure? Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for inaugurating the IRRA platform. Ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed honored to have with us today the well-known face of financial markets, the person who is ushering in systematic level reforms, setting global benchmarks through reforms, the first woman chairperson of SEBI, Srimati Madhabi Puri Buch. Yes, thank you for that applause. Madam has been associated with New Development Bank, Singapore Greater Pacific Capital, ICICI Securities and ICICI Bank in her earlier roles. Ladies and gentlemen, let us, with a thunderous loud round of applause, welcome Madam Srimati Madhabi Puri Buch, Chairperson SEBI, for the keynote address. Can we have a hand mic? This is the clicker. So this is follow-up, right?
Thank you. Thank you. A very good morning to all of you. And once again, my sincere apologies for being late. Unexpected things happen. And which is why we're here to have a backup plan for what to do when things don't go quite as we would like them to go. But I think as I stand here today in this iconic building, and as I stepped in at the entrance, I was reminded of the fact that we are all an extremely privileged generation, because we have, on the one hand, the legacy that this building and this institution embodies. And at the same time, we have this amazing opportunity before us, which is what India is today. We're all very proud citizens, cricket notwithstanding, because we still have a fabulous team and which we are very proud of. But as a nation, there has never been a time that we have been more proud of not only what we have created, but of what lies ahead. And it's not just, as in the past was referred about the potential of India, but this is now the manifestation of the immense amount of that potential that India has. So we are very privileged to be this generation at this point in time. And I think what sets apart this particular point in time for all of us is the fact that we have embraced as a nation technology in all its forms. And that is something that is transforming the country, not just in the portals of institutions like this, but in every nook and corner and in every pin code of the country where, as we like to say, we have our demat accounts and our mutual fund portfolios. So it is on the strength of this technology that we believe that the country is going to actually manifest and realize its potential, which it has always had. And as was referred very briefly, I think it is this technology which now sets us apart. And in numerous international and global fora, people seek India out and say that how do we appreciate, how do we understand how India is setting the global best practice in numerous areas. Naturally, for us, as SEBI, all of you are aware that we have a three-pronged mandate. It's encapsulated in the SEBI Act, in the preamble to the Act, that these are the three things that SEBI is meant to do: the development of the markets, the regulation of the markets, and investor protection. And today, when we have launched IRA, and I would actually say that notwithstanding other acronyms, in our culture, IRA or ERA actually also represents Saraswati. So maybe it's not such a bad acronym after all. And we defer to this whole concept that it is technology, it is knowledge, it is the manifestation of that knowledge which Goddess Saraswati has blessed us with, which allows us to take these steps for each of these three areas of our mandate, and particularly today, investor protection. As many of you know, the journey of investor protection in terms of the protection of the assets of the investors has been a journey which in the recent 5 to 7 years has accelerated thanks to technology. And thanks to all the people who are sitting here on the front row, the MIIs, we have been able to effectively ensure that the investors' assets are protected as best they can against any form of unauthorized or illegal access. So the spirit behind so many of the initiatives which have been implemented, whether it is the pledge, repledge mechanism, or whether it is the upstreaming of client funds on a daily basis, all of these are really meant to protect the assets of the investor. And today, with the launch of this new facility, we're also trying to ensure that the positions of the investor are protected in the sense that if their broker happens to go down, it could be on account of just a technology misfunction, malfunction. It could be due to a cyber attack. For any of these reasons, no matter how resilient the systems that have been built in the market, there is always that finite, small but finite risk that something can go wrong. And at that time, particularly if it's a volatile day in the market and people have open positions, that is not a situation that any of our investors would like to be in. And therefore, that's not a position that any of us as market participants would like to be in. And therefore, the whole concept of this risk reduction platform has come to be. And I must say that apart from the fact that it involves the deployment of technology, I think what is particularly heartening at SEBI is that all of these initiatives require so much collaboration on the part of not just the MIIs amongst themselves, but also the very large brokers who integrate with the system and who have to build the capability to ensure that they are aligned with these systems. There was in the early days some discussion as to whether the system can handle the kind of volume that might come at it in the event something actually goes wrong. We've had numerous discussions on this, and it was our belief that we need to balance how much or what is the probability of risk of how many brokers, which brokers, size of brokers, number of investors would such an outage impact. And on the other hand, the need to balance the cost of implementing such systems. Because as was said, the hope is that this is a system that we will never need to use. So it's like a safety net, which is there for a trapeze artist. He hopes to never use that safety net, but it really needs to be there. So given that, I think a perfect balance has been achieved. What are the chances that more than one broker, particularly more than one large broker, go down at the same time? The probability is somewhat low. In any case, this system is designed for risk reduction, not for fresh position taking, not for fresh orders, but to cancel the pending orders or to cancel or to do a contra to their existing positions. Therefore, the kind of volumes that we would expect coming through the system, we feel confident that the systems that have been built will be capable of handling that. And so with this central thought of saying that in order to protect the investor, two things must happen. He must always have control of his assets and his position, and nobody else should have unauthorized access to his assets or his position. It is that philosophy which has driven SEBI to really work with the MIIs and with the industry to bring this system today to manifest. So I think a big round of applause is due to each one of the MIIs sitting here, and of course the brokers who assisted and collaborated in this very important initiative. On the spirit of collaboration, I would also like to share that I mentioned, upstreaming of funds on a daily basis. It was implemented, it was notified, and people complied with it. But at the end of the day, we did get the feedback that we are complying, but it is difficult. Now, it is SEBI's objective to remain focused on the objective of its regulations, on the objective and the purpose of its regulations. It is not at all the desire of SEBI that if there is an easier path to that objective or that destination, that we should require the industry to take the harder path to it. Not at all, not at all. As many of you know, I've been a broker in my previous avatar for many years, and I've run operations, in a very large bank. So anything that can be done to ease the implementation, keeping in mind the stated objective of the regulation, is always welcome. And in that context, the Industry Standards Forum that was set up on a pilot basis, the three large broker associations are a part of it. I'm always delighted to see a letter that comes on my table which has all three letterheads, all three logos on it together, because it means that our industry is speaking as one, acting as one, and together watching out for the investors. And of course, this forum is really under the aegis of the exchanges, and the MIIs are an important part of this forum. But I'm very, very pleased that the progress made by this forum is tremendous. And I understand that the operational challenges that were being faced by our brokers in terms of the upstreaming circular are now pretty much resolved. I think the I's are being dotted and the T's are being crossed, but otherwise it's pretty much resolved. And hopefully we should have a notification which now simplifies everybody's lives quite considerably. Also, I'm told that since the consensus around this issue was so good and so quick, that now a list of some 50 items, so we all need to get to that half century, 50 items have been submitted for consideration into that forum for standard setting. And once again, I hear, this is unconfirmed news, rumors, but I believe that indeed significant progress has been made on most of those 50 items, and that indeed, again, operational simplification and standard setting collaboratively by the association along with the MIIs is working wonders. And I do hope that we will continue this momentum. And if there's anything after this half century, perhaps the forum would be very happy to look at that as well. So I think another round of applause for this whole collaborative effort on the part of the industry. And as I said, nothing gladdens my heart more than to see all the logos on one letterhead. May that continue to be so going forward. We have had a lot of discussion about risk, and one is really about reducing the risk, which is the technology related risk in the system. So we all know that technology is this wonderful thing which gives us the ability to, at a very low cost and in a risk managed way, make life very convenient for the investor. And today's risk reduction access is a very important milestone in that risk management. And as I said, we see it as the safety net, which is there available so that people invest with confidence. So the trapeze artist does what he needs to do with confidence, knowing that there's a safety net, but hopefully will never fall and hopefully will never need to actually use it. Having said that, I would also like to take this opportunity to emphasize that this safety net is really important for people who are regular traders. They're frequent traders, where downtime of a broker, even of a few hours or a few days, is very material to them. And if they have open positions, they are exposed to risk. But at the same time, the real power of the markets, the real power that lies in the hands of the investor is if they take a longer term view on their investments. So short-term trading has its own place. Of course, many of you would have read SEBI's research report, which talks about how in the F&O segment, unfortunately, 90% of all individual investors lose money. So I must admit, I'm always a little confused and surprised as to why people continue to do that, knowing that the odds are not in their favor at all, and the house always wins, right? That's the saying in Vegas, the house always wins. So there's a 90% chance that the investor will lose money in the F&O segment. But we also know, and the data shows us, that if you take a long-term view of the market, and if you invest with a long-term perspective, you will rarely go wrong. There is a very good chance that you will be creating wealth for yourself and for your family over a sustained period of time that will exceed the inflation rate in the economy, and therefore you will actually get real rate of return on your investments over the long term. So I would urge everybody that while the safety net is being launched today, and we hope it's not used, we hope even less that there is a need for its use if the investors move more and more to a more long-term and sustainable approach to investment, so that they are sure that there is a very high probability that wealth creation will indeed happen in their hands as compared to losing money literally on a weekly and these days daily basis. So with these words, once again, I would salute the entire market infrastructure ecosystem and the technology that has been deployed in the markets to really create this technology stack in our markets, which is today world beating and has indeed set the global benchmark across the securities markets across the globe. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the invaluable insights and absolutely inspiring words. Thank you once again. The vote of thanks will now be proposed by Shri Subhash Kirkar, Chief Information Officer, BSE.
Good morning to all of you. Honorable Chairperson SEBI, our Chairman of BSE, and our CMD and CEO, all the distinguished guests and senior people, senior management people from various MIIs, SEBI, as well as member brokers. I warmly welcome you to this particular last event, as I said. I've read a book 3 decades back, which is called The Mythical Man Month. And there is one sentence in that book which has stayed with me. A project delays day by day. A project gets delayed one day at a time. That is the sentence. So I see this project also as a non-trivial project. It involved tremendous coordination among various integration points with all the MIs, the technology teams, the legal teams, as also the cloud service provider, because this is the first time we are taking such a platform to cloud. And all of them worked like a clockwork. Of course, there were times when we used to escalate things, and Sri Jeevan Parode, he used to have a call, and things were sorted. So I thank all of the MII teams, all the technology teams, all the legal teams, all the people who coordinated and spent hours even to write the contract, and the patience, the perseverance, and the efforts from your side. And thank you everybody who has attended this in a big way. Thank you.
Thank you. And on that note, we conclude this event. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly remain in your seats till the chief guest leaves the premise. Thank you.